I decided to start a new category for this channel called Relationship Emergency because I keep getting letters in or comments where people are asking for help, and a lot of times it sounds like it's a pretty critical situation. It's nothing that I need to address in my written column. I think it's better for me to keep the things that come in on YouTube, and then the things that come in on the blog. So today I want to talk about a very important issue in especially that's in the African American community, as we are deemed the most religious demographic in the nation, especially black women. One of the readers wrote to find out what my thoughts were on a relationship, or actually a marriage, where the couple, one of the members of the relationship, decides to change their spiritual path, and this person from the channel wanted to know, I mean, how can that be predicted 5 or 10 years down the road after you get married, and that growing and changing is a part of life. And she's right, but let me walk you guys through this. Okay. Religion and your religious beliefs are at the very core of who you are. Most of us, based, if you have a certain religious belief, that is how you model your life and your behavior, your expectations in relationships, your concept of life and the afterlife. I mean, a lot of who you are is tied up in your religious beliefs. Now, when you get with someone and you two see that you feel that you're on the same page there, that makes some common ground, and that facilitates what people perceive to be a marriage where they are, quote, equally yoked. All right. Now, where the problem comes in is when, I mean, okay, well, let me back step. Okay, because there's relationships and happy, successful marriages between Jews and Gentiles, between agnostics and Christians, between atheists and Baptists. I mean, it all depends, between Catholics and whatever's. It all depends on the two people and their tolerance for differences. And this is key. I mean, one of the listeners, what do you call them, people, commenters on the channel, feels that a relationship won't last unless there's unconditional love. Now, I've already talked about unconditional love. I don't believe in that shit. And for you to go into a relationship as a mature adult with a complete stranger, thinking that they're supposed to give you unconditional love like your mama, you tripping. You just way off in left field. But what I think is the most important aspect of any relationship, parent, child, parent, I mean, co-workers, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, is respect and tolerance. Those two things. You've got to have those. Everything, those flavor every single interaction that you have with your mate. Now, when someone changes religion, this is where that comes into play. If you don't respect the fact that your mate is different from you, and you start trying to jam your beliefs, your new belief, down your mate's throat, or force it on everyone in the household, even though they didn't decide to change, you did. See, that's where I have a problem, because that kind of attitude is indicating marked lack of respect. You think because you made a decision that your way is the only way or the right way for everyone. That shows total disrespect. What you have to do is, if you decide to change your path in any way, is make sure that your path does not impact your partner's path. This is mutual respect. So, say me, okay, right now I'm atheist, been that way since I was 9 or 10 years old. I just not tripping on all that stuff. But just say that, I decided to be Buddhist. And I'm with a man who is also an atheist. Well, that might cause a problem if I decide that I want him to be Buddhist too. And I start nagging him about being Buddhist. And all I talk about is being Buddhist. And I'm just doing my chants and everything all over the place and wearing him out with that damn Buddhism. Okay, that's going to cause a problem. because now your mate feels that you're not accepting them for who and what they are. Just because you made a change and you decided to switch directions does not mean that anyone else in your life has to agree with it or go along with you. See, that's where we come into a problem. So, yes, that's true. You won't know that you might have this change of heart or grow and learn in a different direction. But see, to me, you choosing a different religious path is just like you choosing a new hobby. You choosing a new interest. You used to play golf, now you bowl. You used to play tennis, now you switch to softball. I mean, so what does that have to do with your mate? That is you. That's a personal choice that you've made. It's the same as you deciding to, switch jobs or get a different car or anything, any other decision that you make for yourself. You really have no right to involve anyone else's life in their decisions and their choices in your choice. So even though you're married, you don't own anyone. Okay, that person still has their own mind, their own heart, and the right to make their choices that are best for them. All I ask is that you partners talk about it, especially if there are going to be children involved, because you have to be in some kind of agreement. Excuse me, on what you might decide to tell your children, or under which religion you're gonna raise them, or are you gonna teach them both and let them choose? I mean, you guys have to talk about that. So that's where the respect comes in again, because respect will kind of color how you communicate with each other about this issue. And with respect in play, you'll have an honest, heartfelt discussion, and you guys will arrive at some kind of conclusion that works for everyone. And I mean, it's the same as like when I, decided I was going to be vegan. That wasn't fair to my daughter. She didn't want to be a vegan. I did. So, and if I'm in charge of cooking the family meals. So on the days when I cooked, I would still cook for her just as I normally would. I would just have my food, like, all my vegetables, whatever, and then I would add some kind of meat or whatever to it for her. So she would essentially be eating the same salad, the same vegetables, the same pasta, all that was the same. But then she would have something else on, some animal protein with it. And did I flip out and say I'm not going to do that and that's murder and all that old shit that people be talking? No, because I understand my responsibility to my household. I decided to make that change. No one else that I'm responsible for should be impacted by my decision to change my eating habits. It's the same thing with religion. You have to, and if you're the mate of a person and they're trying to ram their new religion down your throat and force certain things on you in the household, you have to stand your ground. Now, if that becomes such an issue that the person is inflexible, one or both of you is inflexible and unable to to roll with the punches and accept this new change in your partner, then yes, you would be headed to the grounds. That would be grounds for divorce, because marriage is about two people who decide to walk a path of life together. If for any reason they start having, some major life differences and goal differences and outlook differences, it means they're walking different paths. And a spiritual path is definitely one, like I said at the top of the video, that colors someone's entire life, their entire existence, their view of the world, everything. It colors everything. So if you two cannot work out in a respectful fashion and negotiate whatever you need to negotiate to continue to be together while accepting each other's differences, then you would be headed towards divorce. It would be, I would hope, I mean, a nice and calm one. I mean, nothing that you need to be all insulting and blow up over. You've just reached what we call in California irreconcilable differences. And unless somebody, then it's irreconcilable, because unless the other partner does change to that same religion, or the one who changed changes back, you have reached an impasse. And without tolerance and respect there, that relationship is going to be circling and going down the drain. That's my take on it, and the importance of religion, respect, and honest communication in relationships. You've got to have those things in place. And if your relationship can't handle that kind of change, then it's over for you. This is Deb Cooper with the first of the relationship emergency videos, and I think this is pretty cool. So if you guys have a question, please send it at the top of the channel. You'll see a button that says "Get Advice." Click that, and that's where you would submit your questions if you want something answered in video form here on the Debsterism channel. Thank you very much for submitting that question, Eb, and I will be back tomorrow with another video. Bye bye.